Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say welcome and want to wish you a good evening. It's the 15th. Am I reading the right glasses? Why can't I read? Today is the 15th of December, 15th of December, 2022. Yes, halfway, and eventually soon it will be Christmas. Um, and because of that, Christmas is a coming. The geese is getting fat. Who is gonna put the penny in the old man hat? There's a big freeze right here. Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for those on Instagram. And for those on Instagram, actually, what you're going to be getting is really just my face. But really and truly, it will be much beneficial and better if you on YouTube, join on YouTube and Facebook. But join YouTube actually. YouTube, I believe, is a better thing. Join on YouTube whereby you can interact, like and subscribe, click to follow, click to what do you call it, like, subscribe, and click on the bell. And so I like coming on this on Tuesdays, on Thursdays. I like coming on Thursdays. I like coming on Sundays, and even on Saturdays. But the Saturday and the Sunday are crucial. The talk and sip, which looks like a sort of chill down rum bar setting where we have discussions talking about different life changing issues in our lives and building up a community at the same time. The in review, which started youngs before there was COVID, in review started at the House of Commons on College Green. That's where it started, on College Green. And on College Green, you just pop down there and get different guests and have a chat with them. And I believe that it is very important that we set the stage, set the space, and start having conversations in all different form, in all different sort, and somehow to make sure that we are, as a people, as individuals, very solution oriented. So I invite you in to be a part of the process. And yeah, that's the thing. Sir Gary, how are you doing?
Well, it's great to be able to connect with you, my friend. It's great to be on the Silborn Studio Show.
Well, I tell you what, for me, it's a honor and it's a privilege to have you to make sure that the show is at a great and a high standard. You know, and because that is so important. I believe that's a very important. What should I say? We've got to build and big each other up to a certain extent. As they say, when you do network marketing, they say, you know, value, empower, give value to persons at this time. You know, and so that's just my opening. I was on Instagram for a while I'm starting out, and was just talking about people and life. But anyway, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. I'm okay. I could be better.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Gary, of course, we hang out on this. Um, I was supposed to get Anthony on tonight, but he had to go and look after his father. But ladies and gentlemen, as you see, Gary is to the future. Bigger, better, greater. Go for the future. You know,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, it's the Silborn Studio Show that's going to propel me.
Wait, I interviewed someone recently, and I said this thing which I say all the while when I have guests. I always say this, that I want to get people who are rising. So guess what? I'm being selfish, so I rise with them, so they don't leave me behind, Gary.
Good,
You
good.
know, get people get people who are rising, so that we
Well,
actually rise with them.
well,
You know,
leave me and maybe I'm
and
gonna be.
what's that? I don't know if I got frozen. I don't know if I froze you out a while ago or something like that. Yeah, I can see you're making sure that your image remains constant and fixed, and because your image remain constant and fixed, you're not moving, so you're going to be a permanent fixture. Gary, that's what it is. You're a permanent fixture at this present moment. And I think what I think you may be hearing me, but I think what I may have to do is to remove you and you come back in, because I think nobody's seen you. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Yeah. So I remove Gary and he's gonna come back in straight away. But the big freeze is on, ladies and gentlemen. In the UK, it's some serious temperature which is going on, and if I look at it now, what is it now? My son just came in a while ago. It's -1. My son just came in from running in 9 o'clock. It's -1 degree Celsius out there, and every morning when you wipe down the cars, or you know get you know wipe on my wife's car or so, to get the glass manageable to drive. the there's a new thing. I don't know if everybody's been doing this, but there's a new thing whereby you put some warm water, in a plastic bag, which is room temperature, not hot, just from the tap, and just run it over the screen, run it over the windscreen, and it works perfect wonders. Trust me, it worked perfect wonders, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been doing that, and I've been sharing it with people, and it works really great wonders, because these antifreeze thing, they finish within 2 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. You spray, 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 and they can't spread it very wide. Finish very quickly. So this is a new way of doing things, creating things. So, but the thing about the big freeze as well, and ladies and gentlemen, you can speak into this. The big freeze is generating cold. People are freezing. Seeing their gas in the home, called the heating, going up very high. Electricity, but more the gas going up very high. Just keep going, just keep going. You know, and you wonder what's going to happen to those who are in destitute situations. And that's one of the reasons why I don't follow the whole Prince Harry and Meghan thing, which we'll touch on later. I don't follow it because these guys have no idea what's happening to the real person, honestly speaking. As far as I'm concerned, they have nothing to worry about. Okay, everything is subjective and everything is relative, so I'm not going to take anything from them. But really and truly, they have nothing really to worry about. I don't think they even know where for the temperature for their home. I don't think they know where that is. I don't think they have actually been in a position where they put petrol in their car or so. And yet at the same time, we're all getting excited. People are getting excited watching Netflix and boosting and okay, no problem. Gary's doing a reboot there, and come and he's gonna come back in. But separate and apart from the big freeze, I mean, one of the things which been happening, ladies and gentlemen, is the nurses call for strike resolution after a day of action. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? What used to happen during the COVID period? I tell you what used to happen during the COVID period. What used to happen in the COVID period is like every Thursday, like tonight, we would go out there on the street and we will be clapping. Yeah. We'll be clapping for the nurses. Yep. Chief nurse calls for strike resolution after day of action. I need to get my other glasses there. Yeah. Chief nurse called for strike resolution. England chief nurse says she'd like to see a resolution to nurse strikes as soon as possible as tens of thousands of nurses take action across England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Staff have expressed anger and sadness at being forced to strike for more pay. The UK government says the Royal College of Nursing pay demands are unaffordable. Nurses get an extra 3% last year after the pandemic, and another rise recommended by a pay review body. How much that is? The strikes have been held in around a quarter of hospitals and community teams in England. Yep. All health boards in Northern Ireland, all but one in Wales, nurses in Scotland, are not only striking today while they consider a pay offer from the Scottish government. England Chief Nurse Dan Root May met striking nurse at St Thomas Hospital in London. A video on Twitter sees her calling for the government to make sure they work with the RC and other unions to get an urgent resolutions to pay. Right? We're not asking for much, nurses says. Claps don't pay the bills. Fair pay. Nurses will stay. Freezing cold day. Nurses started their walkout of 7 a.m. at 7 a.m. this morning in Wales, followed by colleagues in England and Northern Ireland an hour later. Sarah, a nurse at the University Hospital Wales in Cardiff, says, I don't think any of us want to be here this morning. Said the dispute was over pay. The big question is, how will the government pay for it? Can the government pay for it? Well, many people is going to say, but hang on a second, Silver. And we all know this. They always find money. They always find money for the war. They find money as much as possible for what's her name? For Ukraine. They're finding money left, right, and center. Why not pay the teachers? I can juxtapose and say that over 413 hotels are there creating room for persons who are seeking asylum. I'm not having a go at that. But there's always money which can be found. I'm not saying that the government should pay this, but without a doubt, it is a clear evidence that something has got to break, something has got to give, because if something don't give, well, you know, at this period, at this time, whereby so many people, are suffering, so many people were who actually had all these, what should I say, appointments, which were put on hold because of COVID. And now, because of strike, they can't actually, those things are being pushed back more and more. But the government will find the money. And the government always find the money. There's a prime minister in Jamaica one time, they said to her, where did you get the money from? We found the money. That was Portia Simpson. We found the money. Money can always be found. But this is not just the only strike. There are much more strikes which are happening in the UK. RMT strike, that strike, everybody's striking. So therefore, it's going to be let me see. It's going to be a very cold winter. GMB union rejects improved pay. Nurses battle with conscience to join the picket lines. What do nurses strike mean for patients? That's a big one. What does the strike mean for patients? They said the RCN wants a rise of 5% above the RPI inflation rate, currently over 14%. No pay rise close to that has been offered. NHS staff in England and Wales, including nurses, have already been given an average of 4.75% increase. The lowest paid will guarantee a rise of at least 1,400. In Northern Ireland, nurses will receive the same increase, which will be backdated. In Scotland, a payoff offer averaging 7.5% for NHS staff has been accepted by some unions. Others, including the RCM, are still considering it. Young NHS workers who are voting yes. Yes, I want to join nurses strike, but can't afford to. The economy at this time, and everyone can say that the economy at this time, the fortunately, one is not seen in Parliament now too much of the Punch and Judy, or many people are saying that the Prime Minister should resign. That is not really happening, which is good. At least there's a level of maturity which is happening. I would say that the level of maturity is happening, whereby they are looking at the issues in a very practical way. Because right now the immigration bit is also taking the limelight. The economy, petrol. Well, petrol has been going up and down, but gas in home, electric in home is actually taking a toll. Ice on the road is freezing. We all know it's freezing. Some people can't afford it. Sometimes I think that the government should actually do something like this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a crisis. And just like how we did a lockdown the other day, what we're going to do again, we're going to do uh, another lockdown. We're going to lock down on the prices. So, therefore, everyone, don't worry too much, or don't worry about your bills. Don't worry about the heating or so. Be warm and make it a flat thing. It's like there's a need so much for government, I would say, to start to help the people. There's a need so much for government to be saying that we're going to help the people. Many people always say that if we do that and if we make that payment, then the future generation will end up paying for today. I sometimes think that is a bit of hog or BS sometimes, because really and truly, at the end of the day, people are always paying for what is happening today in the future, even in slavery, even when the after the abolition of slavery and they paid off some people, some of those guys, same descendants of slave, are still actually up to a certain date was paying off some of these white slave, you know, transatlantic slavery traders. There's always someone paying. So therefore, I say, let's live, man. But that's not the only strike. Friday the 16th, which is tomorrow, December walks out. There's going to be train delays again. Members of the UK biggest rail union, the RMC, will walk out from midnight for 48 hours until the end of Saturday, hitting services throughout England, Scotland, and Wales. If you must travel, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check your rail operator before setting out to see which trains are running. Alan Sugar said something the other day, and I had to comment and say, Alan Sugar, you need to just shut it, man. Shut your mouth, mate. Because he's saying that people need to go back to into the easy. How dare he? Sometimes this fat cat can sit in their high and lofty place and don't understand. People actually, I believe, work much harder working from home. Because you see, when you work from home, and of course, if you've got you know a job which is pressuring, a job which is the accountability and the transparency is evidence based on the outcome, the results, you can't really skive because the results will catch up on you. And when you normally used to go out to work and you get up, you put on your clothes, you know, and then what you do, you go into the car, you drive maybe an hour or two, or you take the train, a couple hours driving, a couple hours on the train, or whatever like that. That's 2 hours there. 2 hours to 2 hours back. And then during the course of that time, you have to have lunch. So you pop out, you know. I know a job like social work, can't hide, can't skive, no matter what. Results oriented. Results oriented. So you go to work 2 hours, back from work 2 hours, go to the cafe or whatever like that, boom, have your lunch. That's 5 hours there, if anything. And therefore you're in the office like for whatever 6 7 hours, if anything. I don't know. But when you're working from home, you start very early, and sometimes you sit and you don't finish sometime till late. and therefore, and you actually working much harder. That's what I think. So when Alan Sugar and these guys says, you know, people need to get back into the office. I wonder what they would say like when they got a big freeze. COVID, with all its evilness and its wickedness and killing off people, COVID actually taught us how to evolve, how to adapt. COVID actually taught us that you can work from home and still can be very effective. Companies are now actually renting out their buildings or doing away with their buildings, saving on electricity, saving on gas, saving on all those sort of things because there's no need for massive staff. So with the train delays, with the train strike, you sometimes start to wonder, and this is the thing. After a while, you gotta ask yourself the question: the demand for trains, the demand for public transport, that I believe is gonna dip very soon. And therefore, maybe they are pricing themselves out of the market. It's like set for doom. Of course, travel is you're always gonna have travel, but everything is so virtual now, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is so virtual, you know. Everything is now online. People are actually, navigating different things. Children are now creating different ways, a new way of operation, a new way of living, a new style and pattern. So therefore, there may be no need eventually for all this transport and all the need for these trains and all the need with the cry for increase. People are just going to say, listen, this is crazy. I might as well work from home. I might as well create something new, create new visions, create new business, create new ideas. And and that's the thing. I think that's the way forward. So when are the train strikes? Which lines are affected? Everything is there. Everything is out there. You can go and check it. I'm not going to be in a mouthpiece for British Rail or National Rail or whatever rail. They need to sort out themselves. You know, on the road, National Highway traffic officers in the Public Commercial Service Union will stop work for 48 hours. In the air, there are good news for travelers using Heathrow. 72-hour strike by baggage handlers from staff working from Menzies Aviation has been called off after talks between the private talks between the private contractor and the United Union. United Division was a guest. You know, um, driving tests cancelled. Well, yeah. What can I say? And but the industrial action is regional with different areas affected. Bus drivers in southwest London who are in the United Union work for operator will walk out for 48 hours in a dispute over pay. Union said it had invited ability to pay talks in September. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody wants pay. Everybody wants an increase. But what I'm trying to say, be very careful what you ask for because you might make yourself totally redundant. As I said before, with the advent of so of the virtual world we're in, the demand for public transportation going back and forth from work, that's going to be dipping. And I love to see some form of evidence or some sort of survey that showed after COVID and building up, the posts where people are getting into this working from home. What has been the demand for trains and underground and the buses? Understand there are some jobs which you need to be on hand, like nurses, like doctors, that person in restaurant, but really and truly office workers, lots of them, lawyers as well. Don't need to go into court. Don't need to go to court physically. They can work straight from home, straight from them yard. All I'm got to do is just put on the top and the boxer shorts at the bottom. you know, if anything, you know. But anyway, the I saw the new. I'm watch it. I'm not going to watch it actually, so I'm not going to comment too much on it. Harry and Meghan new video is out with Netflix, and I decided to say I'm not going to watch it, because I watched the first one, and I just realized and started to think and say these guys are just trying to suck you in, pull you in, yeah, pull you in, go like this, pull you in. Netflix trying to pull you in, trying to get you to somehow suck up to it because guess what? It's money. The more viewers, so therefore everybody's trying to find a sad story. Everybody's trying to find something to pull you in. And there you are, checking your dial for your for your electricity and your gas. You're looking, and there you are, spending time on privilege, spoilt brats. To a certain extent, we have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Son of a king. Children are, grandparents are of a king. Royalty. Nothing. Do you think Prince Charles and the royal family is going to let Harry and his wife go destitute? Never. That won't happen. But you and I, that will happen if we spend time focusing on others who are trying to drench like parasites, pull from us. And the more you think about it, like even with social media, and if you go onto Instagram and all these platforms now, everybody's trying to pull you in, and it's like a malware, like a spyware. A friend of mine is going to do a show on it actually, so if I steal some of your words, but she's so right. Malware and spyware trying to get into your eye gate, then you bring it home. Before, it was a time whereby you go out and you get something and you bring it in, right? But no, right now it is right by you in your phone, and you take it in and you bring it, you download it, and it comes right down into your system. You pull it right down into your system, and there you are now, boosting up these guys, these privileged brats, these persons who have nothing to worry about, never even put petrol in their car. Yes, I'm talking about Harry and Meghan. Not defending the royals, not on their side, not on the king's side, nobody on any side. I'm on my side. I'm on our side, whereby we've got to find answers and solutions. The time, I'm attributed, the time that is spent, ladies and gentlemen, credit to Netflix, Harry and Meghan. You can use that same time and try to find some creative juice, some creative energy. The lady I was speaking to recently, her son is 16 years of age, has some entrepreneur skills, and I said to her, let's make sure that young man can find men that he can actually, look up to. Men that he can actually emulate. But do say something to him. Do say to him this. The men that you see, they're all humans. And human beings will fall, will fail. I'm going to touch on Twitch in a second. But with DJ Twitch, one don't know what happened. Did he self-inflict, or did somebody inflict him? Not adding up. And I don't know why everybody just calling it a day and say that he committed suicide. Really? Come on, man. Maybe it's a sacrifice. But anyway, that's another thing. But the point about it, what I'm trying to say is that lady there, what she should be doing, and what I said to her, I will link your son to my good friend Julian. If he's got some entrepreneur juice in him, let's see how we can actually get him going. That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. Building ourselves. Get Megan and Harry and these guys. These guys are now going to be like parasites, in a sense, in the figurative term, trying to drench and pull your energy and try to divide people, right? And some will be for him and some will be against him. I know the Reverend is very Harry aligned and Megan aligned. How are you? Are you much better now, Gary?
I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so. I don't.
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay. That's
You
good.
know?
That's good. Can you see me clearly?
Huh?
Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can see your outline. I'm just teasing. I can see you, Gary.
Okay. 'Cause no, because my system here seems to be playing up a bit. So that's hence.
Yes, it is playing up again because you just okay. You're back. You're sort of freezing and back and forth like. Um, Michelle is on Instagram and she say hello, Rev. Um, I think you're freezing, Gary. Are you freezing? Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? For the people in the place to be. I guess you're not listening to me. I see you nodding your head, but I don't know if you're hearing me, Gary. Yeah, but you're not speaking. Let me. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. It's always on YouTube. Yeah, the Instagram is just a backup there, just to tell people that to go over onto YouTube. No, Gary, I'm not hearing any sound from you. Just to let you know, something wrong with your sound side there. Um, while Gary is sorting out that bit there. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's up to you if you want to come back out and come back in. Ah, I can hear something.
I can hear you.
Yes, there you are. I can
I
hear
can
you
hear
now.
you,
Yeah,
but
hearing you now.
it's just that I'm just freezing this end, so I'm not
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now, Gary, perfectly.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Mm,
Okay, okay,
yeah, yeah. I went through some of my monologues and my narrative, my monologues which are Holy Ghost written. Um, talking about the strike and how if the transport unions are not careful, Gary, they could actually strike themselves out of jobs. You know why?
why?
People are now working from home. The demand for transport is gonna dip, Gary.
Yeah, yeah,
And the more I think about it, I said, I would love to see a survey that showed the demand for public transport post COVID. And even up to now, because more companies are now finding ways to somehow cement in their organization the virtual thing. There are 3 hearings in court I have tomorrow. 3 hearings. They're all going to be in person. And the judges wrote early this week, let's go virtual. And one of them, which was going to go, what should I say, in person, just just this evening, is now going to be virtual. What does that mean, Gary? What does that mean? It means to say that all the persons that will be taking public transport to go to court stay home now, and that's where they do it. So therefore, automatically, without a doubt, there's less demand. There's going to be less demand on public transport, and
yeah,
as a result of that, the demand. that they're pushing now, they might find themselves, you know, being exorcised, exorcist themselves out of things. It's just like when Scargill and the Cole thing, because things are moving on. Young people are becoming very shrewd. Young people are now, you know, people are walking now. I'm teaching them walk, man, walk and talk. You don't need to drive anymore. Walk. We're back. We're gonna get donkeys, man, Gary, and horses.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I think that I believe that. I mean, when you look at the what do you call it now? At the can you
I
hear
can
me
hear.
clearly?
I can hear you very clearly. I can hear you very clearly.
I mean, when you look at the even at the nurses, I
Yes.
mean, I think they're using them as a scapegoat. Really, they're using them. Um, but you see, it's sad that the government is not even willing to sit down and talk with them.
Mm,
Um, even you know, in relating to the um, we we've mentioned this. Was it last year that the government asked us to stand out outside our doors
and
and
clap.
clap every Thursday?
Yeah, I remember.
And
I remember. I,
I
I
mean,
I
what
do
was all
remember
that
that
about?
one. Yeah.
What I mean, what is all that about? Really, it's
Mm,
sad. It's just sad that you know that the nurses and service has been used.
yeah. And because they know that nurses are the profession that they have, they do it because they don't go into those profession because of money. They yes, of course they like to go to a good living, but they go into it because of they care. That's why they go into their care. And in some government, in a sense,
Right, right.
yeah, I think they have been abused in the course of that time, which is unfortunate.
Yes,
And I don't think they're gonna get the money that they want, but they're gonna get something because, as the government said out, it is we don't have it. But every time I hear government say they don't have something, I always see how they can find money for Ukraine. I'm not hitting out at Ukraine.
exactly. No, no,
They-
but they can find millions to send to Ukraine to help out Ukraine to fight the wars, but they can't find even a fraction of that to give to the NHS. It doesn't make sense.
well, to
To
get for the people. I mean, not hitting out against asylum seekers, but it shows. I mean, 413 hotels, over 413 hotels are being used, you know, for housing. It is commendable that the UK is doing that, but it shows that they got resources. So why
right,
can't they pay and take care of their own people?
right, right.
That's a big question. You know, that's a big question. You know, but Gary, we're going up to 10 o'clock, and we don't want to go beyond. But the Harry and Meghan show came on again. Your people,
My people.
Yes,
I mean, I do have sympathy. I do. I really have sympathy for Harry. I do.
yeah,
And I mean, I'll tell you that I do believe that I do believe that if Harry and Meghan had no, if Harry had married a white girl,
yeah,
then Harry wouldn't be in this problem. There's two there, there are 2 points I want to bring here that
yes,
that there are two unforgivable sins that Harry did. And you can either put one at one and the other one at two. It doesn't really matter in which order it goes. But one,
yes,
he married an American, and two, he married an English
A black woman,
a black woman,
mixed
right?
race. Yeah.
Mixed race, yes, mixed race. Those are two
Mm,
things. Say, I mean, anybody else can bring and can say anything else they want to say, but those
mm,
are the two unforgivable sins that the that the English people will never forgive Harry for. Because
mm,
even though some of them run to America, they don't like Americans.
mm.
Yeah.
You think, and do you think it is actually emanating from the queen's the queen's uncle, the one who abdicated and went with Miss Simpson? There was another American woman again, wasn't it? Remember Wallace
Um.
Simpson?
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
you,
I mean,
but you see, Gary, I don't have the time, as I'd say, for Harry and Meghan. As I said, and I just posted it on a page a while ago because they said black women are feeling bad because of how Meghan is, and I said, please give me a break, man. Those guys don't even know how to turn on their dial meter to check the temperature in their place. They don't even know the first thing about that. These guys are spoiled brats, Gary.
well, yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, they are spoiled. They were born, and it's not their fault, but they were born with a silver spoon or a gold spoon in their mouth. So that's fine. People can always say
Mm,
that. I will never. I won't. Say anything against that.
yeah,
But Harry has a mind of his own, and
and
to me,
mm,
I think that King Charles, he's a control freak. It's his own son, for God's sake. It's his own flesh and blood. Let us say,
mm,
even though there are question marks over his over Harry's father. Okay, that's fine. That's not Harry's fault. Certainly not
yes.
Harry's fault. But Charles wants to control Harry, but Harry's not having that. And
So you,
any man that loves his wife the way how Harry loves his wife, if you were
mm,
in a situation of your own family where your
mm,
father or your mother, either one, made it uncomfortable for your wife,
yeah.
even to live or to operate or to what would you do? What would that man do?
Well, my philosophy is that you leave and cleave, and and as I said, Harry's got to do what he's got to do. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't spend too much time on those guys because they're okay. Um, and then at the same time, we tend to speak at times as if we know what is happening or what is going on in the background. We tend to speak at times because the Queen was the top dog and she was the person making those decisions. The Queen is the one that they said would determine who's married, who you're married to, and Ray. So therefore, there must have been a royal assent by the Queen for Harry to marry Meghan. But whether or not there was a royal assent by the Queen, Harry would have gone off and do any more still, which is must be commended because at the end of the day, um, a man has got to do what he's got to do: leave and cleave. He leave his family and cleave to his wife, and what he's doing is commendable. He's can go on and make millions because he's got to protect himself. But the point I'm trying to say is that what 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 is happening also is that it's like if we're not careful, we can become the suction that they want to boost them, to make them more wealthier, more successful. So in a way, they can be deemed to be like parasites in a figurative way of speaking. I mean, it sounds harsh, but that's what it is. So therefore, they are looking for the sympathy, the emotions from us, because without us, they can't be successful. And so therefore, it's a manipulation, it's a piranha. It's what someone said to me the other day. It's like a malware, it's a spyware, and it's not just them. Everyone is clamoring for attention. Supermarkets does it the same way. It's the same principle in supermarkets. They put the sweets right by the children so the children can reach it. They crave branding experts. What are they thinking? How can we get money? Let's tap into the black market. When I say the black market, let's tap into the racist element. Let's use those things, and therefore they're massaging the emotion, massaging that's the psychological trauma of black people to say it is racism, and then start to take it all the way back. And then if we're not careful, we find ourselves being used for their success because they're all right. Ish lib and whatever. Ish lib. They are son of the kings. Grandfather is the king. Father-in-law is the king. They're all right, Gary. Let's make some money, man. Let's us. We're the king. You're the king. We're the kings, man. I don't know what is happening, but somehow I can't seem to get the comments up. Michelle is saying, correct, Rev. You hit the nail in the head. If you know your history, the man his mother was a black man as well. The man his mother was with. What's that, Gary? Did you say something like that? Michelle is saying, correct, Rev. You hit the nail on the head. If you know your history, the man his mother was with was a black man. Oh, okay, you're talking about Daddy Fired. Daddy talking Daddy Al Fired son.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. You know, you go on to Instagram. So listen, let's move on from that quickly because we got a few minutes. I don't know if you've seen this young gentleman who passed away, named DJ Twitch.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I didn't really follow Ellen. What?
Ellen
Degenerate.
DeGeneres. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't. She's degenerated, man.
she
So we never,
degenerated.
we never really follow her.
Where said she degenerated?
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
I play that just very quick, just to make sure that I don't get any strike. Because that's Helen's video. But when you look at that guy, Gary, and many people are actually saying, what the story is that he killed himself, self-inflicted, left his house, went to a hotel, didn't drive his car. His wife was looking for him, went to the police, and then they found him dead in a hotel. Many TMZ and many people are saying that he killed himself, self-inflicted wound, suicide. Some punters are now coming out and say something is dodgy. Something is dodgy because the type of person that the type of person that he is, one, he got three beautiful children, lovely wife. I don't know. What's your take on it? Because sometimes the smile is deceiving with
yeah. Well,
depression.
you see, again, we don't know the background of these guys, do we?
No, we don't know except that he was executive producer for Helen's show, and he was involved, and he was a dancer, and successful guy. Everybody knows him, and I see him all the while. I don't follow him, I must say, but I always remember a funny guy smiling, and he's always there, because all these talk shows always have a sidekick or so. Um, and the reason why I do it because when I started my talk show and so like that, I've been watching these guys and watching how they do things. Um, so a pleasant character lights up the room, but now everybody's talking about who are you? What are you? Who is behind that smile? Silburn is always smiling. Is he okay? And blah blah blah. So that's what everybody's doing now, telling people, take care of yourself, look out for yourself, look out for your family, check on persons. So it's that's the sort of area where it's going.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
you're not too sure about people at all these days.
No, no, you're not too sure about people. And as Michelle's saying right there, looks are deceiving. You have lots of people who hide depression behind a smile, you know. And I think the question will need to be asked of people at times now is, so who are you? And this who are you is not about the racist element or where you're from, but it's actually how are you? Who are you actually? Let's talk. There's a video which is going around about a show called $1 million something. Four men, friends for years. One of them died, and they found out a lot of information about the one who died that they did not know. And now what they've decided to do was to get together and get to know each other in depth, to find out about each other, because a lot of people are actually living a sort of superficial life. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage people a lot to confront yourself, confront your demon, take a walk in the park. That's why I love walking in the park, because you confront yourself, except when the dog is trying to bite you, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And this is the thing. But I'm not going to call it just. I mean, I don't have no evidence, but I'm not just going to call it suicide just like that. Really, for personally speaking, I'd want to see more. And as what Michelle is saying, the question should be, how are you mentally? When somebody say, how are you mentally? What do you think about that mentally, Gary? What do you go beyond that and say, how are you mentally? Do you ask somebody, how are you mentally? Gary, you froze again. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask this question. Gary froze and he's coming back. Do you ask someone how are they mentally? Yeah. Do you do that? Do you ask someone how are they mentally? Think about that for a second. Or do you ask someone how are they? How are you? You know, digging in a bit, you know, because someone said to me of recent days, and what they said was when they were going through something and they reach out and talk, telling people or so about it, the response normally would be, "Don't worry, you'll be all right because you're cool, you're successful, you'll be all right, you'll be all right." When that person was having some serious issues, and the message that came through was this: sometimes it is because people do not know how to help, or sometimes they fear that you're going to ask them to help because they are not in a position to even help. And therefore, when they say you'll be all right, it's like a cop out. And that cop out actually can be self inflicting upon the person who actually need help, because they say, you're all right, tough up yourself, you know? And I'd rather ask, how are you mentally, than to ask them, how are you? You know, how are you mentally? How are you mentally? And I put it to persons out there. If someone asks you, how are you mentally? How would you respond? Point which is put by one of viewers here. I'd rather ask, how are you mentally, to ask them, how are you? How are you mentally? Or how are you? I do this thing which is called body and soul fitness. We do it on Tuesdays. Yeah. You know? And what we do is sometimes asking persons questions with some little cards. Who are you? Ah, this thing is not working now. It's coming up now. Okay, there we are. Michelle, I don't know. It's now coming up. I'd rather ask, how are you mentally, than to ask them, who are you? Than to ask, who are you? Yeah. So there it is. Where was my train of thoughts a while ago? I was just reading Michelle. What was I saying a while ago? But I think the point I'm trying to say is that Yeah, there's a point which I was trying to grab onto, and it just went out of my head there. But anyway, in the last few minutes, the most important thing is that people just need to really own up. Maybe I lost my mental screw a while ago because it just went. Michelle just threw me off course. um, the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that you actually look out for yourself, take care of yourself, ask yourself the question: how am I mentally? Yeah, I think that is also powerful. How am I mentally? How are you mentally? Ask yourself that question about you. You know, and something people keep saying: check on your mates, check on your friends, especially those who are go lucky, smiling like me. you know, you know, check on your friends who are always smiling. You know, what is it? Why they always smiling? Don't they have problem? Every single person have problems. Every single person have issues. Every husband and wife have issues and so like that. People say, oh, and this is a danger of the social media world, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when you see lots of these pictures also, and if you check it out, there are filters, and the filters actually take away the warts. I always like to say warts and all. I even sometimes put filters sometimes on some of my videos as well, you know. But it shows this perfect image, shows this perfect life. But lo and behold, that's not what it is. That doesn't mean to say that one needs to come online and to speak about all your bags and pans and all your trauma and all those sort of things in public. I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe in I don't believe in men having feminine side as well. What is a feminine side? If you're a man, you're a man, unless you are whatever. You know, emotions are there. Emotions are there. Nothing's wrong with having emotions. Nothing wrong with crying. But that's not being feminine because you're showing something. That's actually showing strength. Crying is actually a sign of strength as much as possible. So so I yeah, what your daughter was discussing, there had to be some sign that his wife's seen. Yes, there must be something. Must be something. And we're going to find out very soon. You know, something. We're going to find out very soon, Michelle. So, without further ado, I want to wish the family all the best. And what we do in the meantime, we we take care of ourselves, look out for ourselves, and be the best that we can be. Tribute to Twitch, DJ Twitch, the man, always smiling. You know. There's one piece of information, Michelle, which I found out recently, and this is what it is. We've been talking, but it seems to be becoming a reality, and the reality is that Jamaica is introducing civics back in school. Yeah, civics reintroduced in school in Jamaica. There we are. That's interesting. And that's powerful. Civics introduced back in school in Jamaica. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight and for Talk and Sip, which is going to be Saturday night. And on Saturday night, I'm also going to be having Mr. Richard Simpson from Coming Up, who is going to talk about the stuff that he does during Christmas to help people and supply some nice food as well during the course of that time. So come for that. And of course, I think I'll be coming on more often. I don't believe in saying in the new year we're gonna do things. We made some great guys, and we're gonna be doing some more shows. just gonna come on, sit down, and just have these conversations. I believe it's very important to have some very serious conversation, especially with men, you know, especially with boys, young men. We've got to be the Joshuas that take them over into the next level. You know, you know. Gary, you come back. Let me see.
I
You,
had to.
you come to do the benediction now.
Well, it must be that because I had to uninstall things and reinstall things and all type of stuff, man.
So now
So
you're an engineer.
it looks like it. It really looks like it, my brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's your last word, any Austin?
No, well, I mean, I was listening to you on Instagram.
Yeah,
Interesting talk. I think there's something we just have to leave and allow things to just go. Really, you know,
yeah,
they've got their life to live, and people have their lives to live. What's happening
mm,
in our world today, not only in the UK, but look what's happening in Peru. Look what's happening in Bangladesh. Look
yeah,
what's happening, in China. Um, that is why we mustn't listen to politicians that much because they're
yeah,
saying that they're going to get England out of or the UK out of the high cost of living and such. They can't do anything for us. Politicians can't do
yeah.
anything for us.
Mm.
If they could,
They
then
would have done.
they would have done already. But you
Yeah,
see, the whole world is, Mr. Sunak and you know
Jeremy Hunt.
and Mr. Starmer. In as much as they've got policies, none of them policies is going to work. They
Mm.
can't fool me. They may be able to fool 99% of the country, but they will never. They can't fool me. They'll never be able to
Yeah.
fool.
Fool me who? Fool me once, fool me twice, but fool me never.
Exactly.
Gary, listen. Say bye to Michelle. Michelle, even the
Michelle.
Michelle, when Michelle said even the employee who checked him in said he had a smile on his face. Oh, she's talking about that.
Yeah.
Not not the world, where the people of the world. Well, Michelle is right when he says the world because the song which I always talk about a lot, and it's a song by Lou Rawls that sings. I do it a lot when I'm walking in the early days during the COVID period. What's the matter with the world? As the world gone mad?
Yeah.
And in the same sentence it says nothing's wrong with the world, but it's the people that's in it.
Mm,
What's the
that
matter
is
with
so
the
true.
world? As the world gone mad? I said nothing's wrong with the world, it's the people that's in it, in it, in it, in it. Some my father used to love. Anyway, Gary, listen, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Those on Instagram and those on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever. I want to wish you a good evening and stay warm. Don't freeze yourself. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish now. Just at the end of the day, just live, man. Just live. And see you Saturday night. Talk and sip. Peace out. God bless you. Bye, Michelle. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Peace out.